Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're listening or watching from in the world, of course. Welcome back to the You Turned Up Show with me, your host, Rabin Redmond, right here on GBKM FM. And of course, don't forget, this is where we aim to empower, energize, and also uplift today's youth. But don't forget, we go all the way from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. right here on GBKM FM. And our platforms to get us on, they're on Facebook at Great Benin Kingdom. You can also get us on YouTube, GBKM TV. Don't forget our website, which is www.gbkm.fm. You can also get us on TuneIn app, which is GBKM. And don't forget, get our app from our website and take us with you wherever you go in the world. And of course, You Turned Up Show is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of AOF Immigration Canada, who specializes in all your immigration needs, ranging from the student visa program, permanent residency, Quebec investor program, all that and so much more. So give them a private and confidential consultation. They are phone numbers to call is 416-629-4617. You can also send them an email. It's at info@aofimmigration.com. And if you're in Canada, of course, you can visit their offices. It's located at 5800 Ambler Drive in the great city of Mississauga, Ontario. So last time on the show, we discussed the NDP's proposal to end police violence. This week, of course, we'll take a different direction, but all in the spirit of emerging from COVID-19 as we present the first in our series of As We Reopen. So don't forget, just tune in on the conversation. You can also join our platforms and leave your comments. We always encourage you to join the conversation, and we'll get to some of those comments as we go through. But of course, don't worry, we'll take our very first break, but we'll be right back with so much more.
As the world fights this coronavirus, we are standing together as a family.
My name is Kevin. I'm a fan of GBKM.
My name is Pastor Clement Omozane.
I'm Medea, your red carpet host.
I am your host, Ellen Roxon, for the show Talk That Talk here on GBKM FM.
I'm a mother and a teacher. I stand with everyone at this time.
Hi, my name is OJ Egobo, co-host of the King's Domain.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lloydie, the host of the Chat Up Show on GBKM.
My name is Kenny Bazwai, President and CEO, GBKM FM and TV. We stand with all the community affected by this pandemic.
And of course, welcome back to the You Turned Up Show right here on GBKM FM. Of course, you're locked into the hour from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. with me, your host, Romain Redmond. So let's jump into the show. Of course, as you're seeing, and if you were with us before we went for the break, you would have already known we're presenting the first in our series of As We Reopen, as we discuss some of the strategies or various cities are employing just to ensure a safe return to society. And of course, with me, I'm joined here by no stranger to You Turned Up Show and a very good friend of ours here, Councillor for Brampton City Council for Ward 7 and 8, Ms. Charmaine Williams. Councillor, of course, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Romain. It's always a pleasure to be on the You Turned Up Show. You know, you guys bring great information to everyone, not just the youth.
No.
But it's always a pleasure talking with you all. Thank you.
You know the nice thing about that? I love when I hear that we are actually creating the impact that we were initiated to create. But of course, you've been such a good friend to us, and I had to get you back in because reopening is such a big thing for us right now. We want to know what to do. How do we get back to some semblance of the life that we had before? And of course, our officials, whether it be Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, wherever in Canada, they're working hard to ensure that our surroundings are safe when we get back into the world. But of course, Council, I must get your feedback though. How have you been surviving quarantine and COVID-19?
You know what? It definitely has had its challenges. I have 5 kids, and so I've had to go through homeschooling. I have 4 that are in school, from high school all the way through 2. So I'm no stranger to how hectic and difficult homeschooling can be. But I have to say it's been a bit of a blessing, being home with everyone. And keeping everyone safe. You know, a life of city councillor or elected official, you're go. We're meeting many people, and you have to take care of your community. So that it means being with the community. And so the past 6 months I've been at home with the family and connecting with the community in different ways. And so, yeah, it's been a bit of a blessing.
I must say, before we came on, I was actually telling you how much of a woman you had to be during COVID-19. But I'm going to ask you, though, what's the biggest lesson that you'll be taking away from COVID-19? I mean, the whole lockdown situation, the unprecedented fashion that it hit us with.
Science is amazing. That's what I'm taking away. You should trust scientists.
Yes.
We need them. But I'm taking away the importance of family and friends. Many people have been affected by COVID and lost loved ones, and it's been very difficult. And so my heart goes out to all families, as well as all of the frontline workers who have been working so hard to make sure we have our places sanitized, our hospitals fully staffed and running, and getting us food, and keeping grocery stores stocked. So there's been so many people frontline that have been working hard, and it just shows how valuable we are. Even our teachers, not having our kids, I'm sure it's thinking all of us that teachers are so important.
Definitely had to learn how to teach her. We've also educated ourselves. We're learning the math, we're learning the science, we're learning the French, we're learning all that stuff. So it's a win-win.
That's right. Yes. So I'm taking away a lot.
Absolutely. But of course, council has been quite busy during the COVID period. I mean, your mayor, we had the mayor speak to us a couple weeks ago here on GBKM FM, and he spoke of some of the responses that himself, yourself, and all the other council members, the region of Peel, has done during this time. Quite progressive, I must say, in that sense. I was just even listening to the numbers yesterday. I haven't gotten the full numbers for today as yet, but 3 cases recorded in Peel yesterday. That's a big round of applause. Would you say?
That is a huge round of applause, especially knowing that we in Peel have always been the second round of openings for every phase. But I hope we are realizing that we have to social distance. We have to wear a mask. That's why on July 10th, we did make it mandatory for non-medical masks or face coverings to be required in all indoor public spaces. And those decisions were made to help people slow down. I think what happens when we start to reopen and people are starting to get out, it's almost like people think COVID doesn't exist anymore.
No, because we are out. We have been waiting for this for the longest time.
That's right, but we are still in a pandemic. So we have to make sure we're protecting everyone. If not, at 3, we'll go to 6, we'll go to 10, it will go, and we'll see if we can spike to right back lockdown. So please, everyone, wear your mask.
Do what you're doing. Absolutely. But that's a nice segue into our topic for today. We're talking about, as we reopen, Brampton's strategy. I know Brampton's strategy is also inclusive of the region of Peel itself. So I just want you to elaborate. You mentioned before, effective July 10th, it became mandatory for us to wear masks on the inside. And just for those viewing at home, we are social distancing here in studios, but I can't wear my mask on air. So here I am. But I'm a safe distance from my producer and all our other crew members. But the strategy, Councillor, go ahead, please.
Yes, absolutely. So we've decided to distribute 1 million non-medical masks to our residents. And this mailing masks will happen, about 3 masks for every single family, every single household. So that is going to really help people who aren't able to get masks. We will have them. And those non-medical masks will be required anywhere, I guess you could say, it has a roof and 4 corners. If you walk into it and close the door, you need to have a mask. There are some exceptions, but I would encourage everyone to go to the website to find out what those exemptions are. But it's serious. Individuals and business who are not adhering to this bylaw may be fined a minimum of $500 and a maximum of $100,000 for each offense, $100,000. So it is important because we cannot afford to see another
spike in cases.
to keep people safe, which is why we're taking this bold step. Also, another exemption: children under 2 are not required to wear a mask as well. But I know everybody's waiting for when we can start with stage 3. I know we've been listening to the province, and but until we get the full go ahead and that date is all set and everything is a go, we are still keeping any of our recreation facilities. They are closed to the general public for walk-ins until further notice. But I believe we're just waiting to see, because we weren't a part of the first group to jump to phase 3 yet. But so once that happens, we'll be able to get an update. But please go to our website at brampton.ca, and all of the information's there.
And one in that regards to, I'm just going to read it, just a couple of the information that's published on the website here, so what is open. So we have the Rose is still closed, Royal LBP Theater and the Civic Center is still closed. We do have the Animal Services Shelter. A lot of those are still closed. However, our cemeteries are open. The City Hall, Westoren, all those are still closed to the public. Events, we do have a farmers market, and I think it's summertime. A lot of persons will be getting out on that one.
That's right. Farmers market is every Saturday. It wraps up at 12. It's a great opportunity to go down, get produce, fresh produce, and try local foods and products. And it's all done with social distancing, but you can go from the morning until noon in the afternoon and be able to check out the farmers market. So I encourage everyone to go check it out.
Absolutely. So are there any other requirements while stepping out? I mean, we know the masks is highly recommended. Seeing that we're not, it's not necessarily an indoor space, but it's outdoor space, we're still encouraged to maintain that 6 feet. We're still encouraged to wear the mask. But are there any like limitations? Let's say a family of 3, 2?
If you're in the same home, you're family related, you can go out together. We do encourage, as the province is talking about, the maximum of 10 people. And, I encourage everyone, if you haven't gotten tested, get tested so that you can have your family bubble of 10 people that can get together. Anything larger than that, there is the risk of being fined of having a larger group. But, include physical distancing. You need to have physical distancing from people who are not in your household or your social circle. I like to call it your social bubble.
Your social bubble. Absolutely. Well, and that's so wonderful too, because I mean, as we aim to get back to some semblance of what life is, we know that summertime right now is a time for the huge outdoor events. I mean, we had Canada Day over the internet. Who would have thought? Last year we were partying downtown Brampton and all this stuff, but the sense of getting back out there, right? I know we're not in stage 3 as yet, and we're waiting for the announcement to get there. But is council ready for stage 3? That's the huge question.
We have to be ready. We have a reopening reopening task force, and they've been watching very closely, as all of us in council have been watching very closely, all of the decisions that are being made by the province, so that we can make sure we have a plan to be able to move forward safely and be able to relay those messages to everyone. So we are right on top of it and on board, and we have the authority to call a special council meeting. And council we do meet as virtually through Skype meetings, and we are able to carry out the business of the city. So we want to make sure that any of the plans that the province does bring down to us, whether if it's short term or quick ups or whatever may happen, we are able to act very quickly.
Wonderful. So, but Councillor, though, I think one of the huge things, and even when you were on my show last year, we spoke about the need for technology to get yourselves more adapt to a technologically driven society. And we have definitely seen that let's say we're thrust into a world in which we had to quickly adapt. I mean, we now have parliament sitting from each ends, from coast to coast of Canada. We had council, of course, sitting from the comfort of your homes. But and we even watched as we got such a timely verdict being delivered over the internet. But as we go into and come out of, should I say, COVID-19 and all this stuff, do we see council doing more of those sit-ins outside of the society itself doing more of those? And how will the city prepare itself for all that too?
Well, I think it definitely will mean that we have the option. Because when you're forced to learn a new skill, you can't unlearn it.
True.
And I think we've been doing very well at the city to make sure that we have access wherever we are. And if somebody is on a trip overseas and we have a council meeting or a committee meeting, we can still log in. And I think because of having to sort out all of the technological issues and everything during COVID, we have everything set in place to accommodate people be out of the country or out of town during council. And so I do see that this meeting will be the new normal. Of course, we are going to be encouraged to be in our council chambers, but at least if the mayor...
The option is there.
The option is there. Exactly.
Absolutely.
There.
And another wonderful thing is I was just actually looking at the plausibility of this too, but building codes, will there be a revision to those going forward? Because I know for a fact that, especially in Peel, and I'm looking at it from even a school perspective, the University of Toronto Mississauga campus, that we allowed to, I think in some of the halls we're allowed to hold some almost 300 children, young adults. Will there be a revision of building codes in terms of more automated doors, more facilities, spacing and all that stuff? Will there be a change coming from council?
I don't think that's on the agenda right now to be talking about the full building codes. I know right now we are definitely looking at what the future is going to mean for the city as we develop, because we are a growing city. We want to build. We want to encourage any developers to come help and build the office space that we need. We know we are at a deficit. We need more opportunities for entertainment and culture and all of those things that will attract people to live in our city, especially our young ones. Everyone, and I'm sure you're the same way, Romain. When you're young, you want to go spend your money in a hip town, right?
Absolutely.
And Toronto is taking a lot of our entertainment dollars that should be spent here in Brampton. So, I think right now, as planning, we look at the future of the city. We are looking at how we can encourage more locations that have that type of vibe, that have that type of space where people can gather and people can, socialize in a hip and funky way. So, I think the big thing that people are also waiting for is what are our brilliant scientists going to do when it comes to vaccination? And when there's a vaccine, will that also take care of the virus and decrease the spread and hopefully eradicate it, like you have like different viruses that come along? So regards to building, we are looking at building a hip and upcoming city.
Absolutely. But of course, we all know that cities across the country has definitely been hit hard by, economically I'm speaking, by COVID. The recovery efforts, though, for the city, before we went in, we had the pause on property taxes. We had all that in terms of helping the city to expand from before, right? What's happening with our finances, economics in our city coming out of COVID-19? What plans being put in place?
Well, that's a good question. I think all municipalities are saying to the province, we are going to be hit with a major deficit and we need support to be able to recoup our losses, because the city is not able to run a profit. We're not able to have, outside of fees and services, we can't be a money-making city. The Municipal Act does not allow that. So we have to rely on the province and federal government to be able to make sure that we have the funds to help run our city well. We did give the option back in March to allow residents to defer their taxes should they request. Unfortunately, we had some people in our finance department make a decision to defer taxes for everyone, especially those people who pay monthly. We have a large number of people who pay monthly, made it, when you do monthly withdrawals.
Absolutely.
Well, unfortunately, that decision did withdraw the opportunity for our monthly taxpayers to pay monthly. So that created a huge upset. And so there are a number of options that people can take. And I want to just make sure that people know that if you are wanting to pay monthly, we encourage you to cancel your monthly withdrawal with the bank. And the option is to pay online or come into the city and pay monthly. So then that way you're still able to pay monthly, but you need to cancel your monthly withdrawal. Because if not, the city will withdraw in September your property taxes divided up into four.
Okay.
Right.
So and when you say divided up into four, opinion that we're coming from that's what, March, April, May, June, July, or coming from June, July, August?
So the new tax year will start, withdrawals will start for September. September, October, November, December.
Okay.
But those who pay monthly will get their tax amount divided into 12.
Okay.
And they would just have a monthly withdrawal.
Okay.
But that decision that was made without our permission, we were very upset as a council that this happened to so many of our residents. That decision took away the opportunity for those who pay monthly to continue to pay monthly. So unfortunately, it will mean that residents will have to cancel their monthly withdrawal. And then manually monthly until the end of December, until we get that sorted out. So I want to encourage everyone, if you have any issues, any concerns, call 311 and say, I need to get more information on how I can continue to pay monthly on my taxes.
Absolutely. And then the thing is, because I know our federal government is in the process of allocating some $19 billion. We've heard Mayor Crombie, Mayor Brown, and then our subsequent mayor hollering for help in that order going up. So we're going to have to rely on some of those trickle-down effects in terms of, well, you're aware of how it goes. But seeing that the region of Peel was one of the hardest hit following Toronto, you're expecting to be in the greater number, as at least second place in terms of how much you'll receive from the government. Is there a bill at council right now for the toll COVID has taken? Is there a bill right now? Is there a figure that council is working with?
Wow, that's a good question, and there is a figure that is actually too high. We're looking at, I want to. Not quite sure off the top of my head, but I can find it. I don't want to give the wrong information.
Okay, is it a double-digit billion or is it a triple-digit billion? Which one?
No, not triple-digit billion. Thank goodness for that. Not triple-digit.
But it's a double-digit billion.
Well, let me get that number for you during the break, and then I'll be able to give everyone that number.
Okay, no problem.
We do know that we're going to be hit pretty hard. So. But you know what? The province has to support us, and I think we'll be advocating and pushing really hard to make sure that it doesn't fall down onto our taxpayers. That is the main goal. I don't want to see any of our taxes, property taxes, have to increase to fill the gap that the province should be filling. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of things happen in terms of that recovery effort. I mean, bus rides were free for a couple of months,
That's right.
and that came in a period when Brampton was, and the city, Peel, the region, rather was trying to expand or bus system and make it better. So many things have been put on hold in that respect. But I think one of the wonderful things that I'm speaking from a political scientist, it's a political scientist kind of like getting our juices going. We've been so dormant in terms of political activities and research, but I'm seeing during this time bylaws and procedures really played a huge role in getting things under control. And for myself, I know it's quite exciting to me as a political scientist, but just tell us some of the things that happened with our bylaws and procedures during this time, though.
Our bylaw, I take my hat off to them if I was wearing one, but I do highly respect our bylaw officers. They are our police officers for the
Yeah.
city, and they get put in situations where, especially at COVID, emotions are really high, and
Yes.
people want to get out and people want to do things. But our bylaw officers have to be able to maintain that safety and maintain that needed order that we have. Our
Absolutely.
bylaw officers have been very busy, and even one bylaw officer was the victim of an assault.
Oh,
For goodness sake, trying to regulate. Yeah, yeah. So if you see a bylaw officer, give him a break and say thank you for what you do.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so they've been really great though with responding to people who are not social distancing, having events. They have been going to parking lots. People are gathering, going to birthday parties.
Yeah.
People are having birthday parties and um, barbecues and such. And
Yes.
they've been going and saying, "Hey guys, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we need to reduce the spread," and handing out tickets. And so anybody who wants to report a violation, 311 is the number you call. You call, to give the address or the location, and our bylaw officers will come out and respond. And it was a really, really great job, honestly. I've been very impressed. They're
Wonderful.
even able to go after a grocery store chain.
What?
Yes, that was in the news too. Yep. So they've
Absolutely.
been working very well closely with Peel Regional Police as well and Public Health to respond to information regarding potential violations that are received from the public. So please call 311 and we will be out there.
Wonderful. And as we venture into this reopening efforts and the strategy has been put in place, mandatory masks and all that, I'm sure you're aware of the No Mask group. I'm going to the last time we heard our premier refer to them as a bunch of yahoos. Not sure the exact meaning of that, but I think we got the gist of what he was trying to get at. But of course, I know for a fact that right now in the region of Peel, there is a if you refuse, just let it go kind of thing. We've seen the assault that took place, verbal
Yeah.
assault, physical to some extent that took place in the city of Mississauga. But we expect as a public to have repercussions to as regular people. We like to know that if we're trying to do something that was mandated by our officials, that we have the protections under the law to, if we're assaulted, if we're abused, we can get the requisite kind of like not too much reciprocity, but something to ease us, put us at ease. So fines. What else are there?
Like I said, call 311. And if you are in a store and it's really up to the establishment to regulate who's wearing a mask and why. And whether the store has to take the optimal attempt to ensure the safety of the community. So if you're going into a store that is not monitoring, does not have sufficient signage up to say masks are mandatory,
Okay.
or is not approaching somebody who doesn't have a mask to say, "Hey, where's your mask?" Then your option is to report the store.
Okay.
Don't go up to the person and try and put yourself in that position to be at risk of getting assaulted. Don't go up to the person. Let the officials do the work. right?
Yeah.
Keep your distance from that person that's choosing not to wear a mask. Okay. So I would encourage anybody, if you see the store that's not taking all of the steps to ensure your safety, you report them to 311, and our 311 officers will look out for that and take care of it.
And what do you say to the individuals who refuse to wear the mask even when there's enough signage and they're fully aware of what's going on outside? What do you have to say to them, though?
Well, I never want to go after somebody not wearing a mask who might not be wearing it because of medical reasons, but I want to make sure that they're safe. And if they can't wear the mask for medical reasons, maybe they need to change their shopping habits.
Okay.
And because they are putting themselves at risk at catching the virus. Because without a mask, you don't have the reminder not to touch your face.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So their orifices are open to get something in there, the nose holes and mouth. They don't have that protection. So I would encourage them to maybe do more online shopping and keep away from other people.
Yeah.
And protect yourself. So if you can't wear a mask, do what you can do to protect yourself, because there's a lot of people out there who are out and about now. And, you're putting yourself at risk if you're going to refuse.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll take a very second break here. Lovely discussion going on, of course. We always encourage you to join. So just leave those comments on either for live streams, and we'll definitely get to those. If you have any question for Councillor Williams, of course, I'll see if she can get to some of those before the show wraps. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, okay?
The Amazon Super Flyer is a digital flyer that was built to make it easy and convenient for you to acquire any products you need on Amazon. It is designed to allow you to touch or click the photo of the product you wish to purchase without searching or navigating to find it. Let me show you just how easy it is to use. This is how you use the Amazon Super Flyer Pharmacy Edition. You can come down here to an item that you wish to purchase, like this mask right here, and if you click on it, it'll take you right to Amazon, so you can add it to your cart or buy it immediately, and also use your Amazon account for the purchase. Amazon handles the shipping, Amazon handles the payment processing. All you do is add it to your cart and buy it immediately, just with a touch or with a click. It also has 6 pages of items that you might wish to purchase in different departments. Along the side, if there's an item that you don't see that you'd like to purchase, then you can go to the link here on the right, click on that link. It'll bring you immediately into the full universe of masks that are available at Amazon. You can pull up a page like the children's page, scroll down to get cough, cold, and flu medicines, thermometers, juice boxes, or any other types of items that you might want for your child. With the Amazon Super Flyer, you can be just a touch of.
And of course, welcome back to the Return to Show right here on GBKM FM. If you're just joining us, you would have missed some 30-something minutes of our conversation, but of course, all our videos are posted to our platforms, our viewing platforms, that is, after we air. And we also do repeats on our Facebook, on our YouTube. You can also catch us on our website for repeats during the week. And as we get closer to the weekend, we venture on all our platforms. But of course, I'm joined by the wonderful super counselor during this period, Charmaine Williams for Brampton City Council Wards 7 and 8. We have been talking about the strategy Brampton is currently employing to ensure a safe return to the great outdoors that we haven't seen in a very long time. But of course, we're talking about mandatory masks. We're talking about finance, economical stuff, social, what does social life look like, technology, and all that fun stuff. But before we went for the break, Councillor, you promised me that figure, the deficit at City Council. How much are we looking at?
It's an approximate. According to our last report, Council for July, we're at 44.7 million. 44. So I knew we were in the billions, but we're at 44.7 million.
Of course. But that deficit is definitely, I suspect, that's a deficit that is reasonable. It's reasonable because I, for one, expected a big one, and I'm looking at it from an outsider. But of course, you have called, your mayor yourselves have called upon the province for said help, and being the second hardest hit region that's coming from Toronto, who is gonna have a bigger hit. So let's see and let's hope that we can, of course, get that figure and go back to doing the business of Bramptonians and the region of Peel. So we spoke about the strategy to get back, but there's another interesting program that I'm so fascinated by, and you know that this is the Return to Show, so we have to talk about it. And it's of course the Youth Support Task Force, which was established during COVID-19 to help the younger ones like us, counselor like us. Well, of course, tell us a little bit more about that and what that entails, because I think what's happening is, especially for younger people, we've been thrust out of the life that we knew. I mean, summer is for us to ditch the books, ditch the house, be at the pools, be for all those who are of age, the younger ones who are of age like myself, get into the clubs and all that fun stuff. But what does that look like, this task force? How does it aim? How is it aimed at helping our young people?
Yeah, well, I'm just so happy to be a part of the Youth Task Force.
And you pioneered this, yes.
Yes. So myself and Councillor Singh, we are the co-chairs for the Youth Task Force. That was started early on to address the issues that youth will be facing during COVID. I have a 16-year-old myself, and I know it's been particularly difficult for him. But Brampton is one of the youngest cities in Canada. We have more than 130,000 youth within the ages of 14 to 29 here in the city. So we recognize that the impact of COVID has on your community. It has an especially difficult and stressful impact to our young. And we wanted to make sure that we equip them with mental health supports, places to turn to call. Also, ways to keep busy, ways to keep active during that time. You know, we have many recreation centers that were the hub for many of our young people to go before or after school, and now that's been taken away. We also work very closely with the Peel Regional Police and many mental health organizations to understand and get a good picture of what families are facing. And we know that parents with youth as well, they're particularly struggling with some of the behaviors that our young people, right?
Yes.
The outlet of going out, play basketball, to go just be social with your friends, all of that stopped. So we also provided Instagram shows and professionals from Peel Children's Center to be on there and talk. We also provided opportunities for our trustees to be able to give information. We did work very closely with the school boards as well, both the Catholic and public, to make sure that we're able to give everyone the information they need around homeschooling. Many of our youth are graduating this year, and unfortunately they lost their opportunity to go to their prom and to say goodbye to many of their friends. You know, your grade 12 year is epic, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we wanted to make sure that we're able to provide them with all the information they needed and how to get access to it. As a city, we are a facilitator, right? We don't have experts with the information. They're out there already. So if we can bring the experts in to be able to be available to those who need the support, we're going to help facilitate that. And it's been very successful. We also have a website, and there's lots of information because we haven't shut down our task force, which is a good thing. They're still available. So if people need to get information, check out brampton.ca /youth task force, and it's youth task force. And go to the website. Even if you go to brampton.ca, you can find all the task force.
The hyperlink to get there.
And all of the supports are there for financial, access to food and shelter, mental health, support for international students, accessibility supports and disability resources, and even volunteer opportunities. It's
Absolutely. All there. And a quick pin right there, because I know your profession before you went into active politics, you worked with the youth a lot in terms of mental health. It's a psychologist. Am I getting it right?
I worked in child and youth work, and I'm a certified multi-systemic therapist, and
Therapist,
I
yes.
worked as a behavioral consultant for a number of years. So
So you would have that first-hand experience as to what it's like to really support young people under stressful, let's say stressful situations like COVID.
absolutely, and it was important because a lot of us in my colleagues, and I'm talking from my children's mental health hat, a lot of my colleagues, we knew that this was going to be a major blow. When you are suffering from mental health, one of the coping strategies is to get out and exercise, is to be social, is to push yourself out of that slump
Yes.
and to get out there. And COVID shut that all down. So anybody who is suffering from anxiety, suffering from depression, or at risk of is a higher risk because they'll fall into it with COVID. It's taking away your whole social circle and your network of support. So, and I don't think we really realize the impact right now. It's
Yes.
going to hit us severely in the next year. You
Absolutely.
know, this is going to have long-term impacts. Uh, Even our Peel Regional Police, they said they've seen an increase in the amount of family dispute calls
Wow.
during the time of COVID.
Wow.
So they're going out to de-escalate family disputes. And so I think we're going to have to be looking to the province to say, hey, you're going to have to start funding more mental health services, especially in the children's mental health realm, so that we can get parents the support they need and the right education they need to be able to parent during difficult times with their kids.
Wonderful. And a quick question in that regards then. So will we see the task force morph into something else or remain after COVID has subsided even fully? Because based upon what you're saying is there is a need for it. It did fill, not just a COVID need, but a societal need for it. So will semblance of the task force be relevant or still be used after COVID? And I'm even touching on even the nutrition and the food aspect. I know there is an aspect of it which can get students fed. Those who before COVID would have been relying on other mechanisms in the community, whether it be at school or in the community or church or religious gatherings to eat.
Well, the great thing is the platform or the framework was already getting itself set up for that. So last summer, actually, we had two awesome young interns put together a youth strategy. And it was a full report that we requested at council to have comprehensive youth strategy for our young people in the city. What do they need? What are they impact? What are our youth look like? What are they interested in? How can we support them? So out of that youth strategy, it did say all of the things, the components that we have in our youth task force were a part of that strategy. So what we're going to be doing, and hopefully with the support of council to see this happen, is to just roll our youth task support. Sorry, it's getting muffled.
It's
Our
like a
youth,
tongue tied there a bit.
we're looking to roll the youth support task force into the youth strategy and continue moving on and keep it going. Because on the City of Brampton website, we do have a youth page
Yes.
where it had much information. So now it's just to transfer it into the youth page and keep the staff that we have to be able to continue on and make sure there's good programming and support for our youth, especially with regards to access to food and shelter and all of those important heavy duties that our young people have to face in the city.
Absolutely, and so lovely in that regards. We're coming to quite close to our time here in studio, so we're just going to shift gear a bit here because we weren't just in one thing. We experienced multiple things during COVID-19, and I'm pretty sure you are aware of what I'm talking about. That revolution for persons like yourself, myself, or talking about Black people around the world, and the increased call to have our voices recognized, to have our recommendations adapted, and to change the status quo so that we can exist as equal, as equitable, as justly as lighter counterparts. And I say lighter to whiter counterparts. But we heard invest in community strategies, health, mental health, social work. We heard defund the police, probably the loudest call coming out of that this period. What step is council? Let me just go with this. Is council currently sitting down, mapping out a strategy, considering all the options there are, and how soon can we expect a response?
Well, very shortly after that ball or snowball started to grow, we did take very active and bold steps. We right now have a wonderful woman named Gwen Chapman. She is the head of and the coordinator for a unit, and it's the Black African Caribbean Economic and Health Unit. And what her role is to bring all of those key people together in the community and really look at what we as a city need to put in place to see the success and see equity amongst for Black people and Black African Caribbean people in the city. So that was passed unanimously, and she has been hired as a result of that. And she's been doing great work so far with connecting with all of those key players in the city of Brampton to really understand what the city needs and what we are going to do moving forward. The other important thing that I've been encouraging is our community to be involved in politics. I went to very early after I was elected. I was able to listen to the debrief of the carding, the carding information from Justice McLeod. He did a full inquiry in it, and it was excellent. And he often says, you know, nothing about it without us. Nothing about it without us. We have to have that ingrained in our full being, and become involved at these discussions tables, at these decision-making tables, on a federal, provincial, and municipal level. There needs to be more of us African Caribbean people at the table, and you need to get involved in politics in order to do that. So if we really want to make sure that our voice is being heard and that plans are being made equitably, we have to be there at the table. So, you know, I'm here, and I want to hear from people as well. You know, I as a Black woman, I know exactly what challenges we've gone through. I myself have been a victim of racism, and you know what I mean? I'm sure you have as well, Romain. So I'm speaking from a place of full authenticity when I'm speaking about race. That voice wouldn't be there if I wasn't there.
Absolutely. And I remember on, was that June 30th, I attended the City of Brampton's, in conjunction with not the City of Brampton, but the Region of Peel in conjunction with Peel Police Town Hall, as they considered the defunding proposal. Let me put it as that, a defunding proposal. And they heard from us. And what I think stood out from that conversation was the fact that let's not move in that direction as quickly as it sounds beautifully to say it, but let us have the systems in place which should pick up where the police is going to drop off. And we're talking about not responding, not necessarily be the first responders for mental health crisis, not necessarily being the first putting system in place so that persons who are on the streets can actually get housing. The region of Peel gives some over 400 million per year in terms of support for the Peel Police budget. 400 million. It's a huge number. The deficit right now we're speaking about is 44.7. We see the fraction there is. That's like 1 in, oh wow, that's actually like 1 in 10.
So the interesting thing is,
Yes.
if you look at the percentage that is salary and what
Yes.
is operating with the police budget, and I think a fairly large percentage of that 400 million is salary.
It is a huge one. I've seen
Right.
the numbers. It's huge.
Right. So if we were to defund police, right? If we
Yes.
were to say defund it by 10% or whatever may have you, you know, what will be the first to get cut? In
Is
any business, it's bodies, it's people.
exactly.
So if we defund the police, we would be letting go of a number of officers. And if you look at the way history has gone, more people of color have been hired in the last 5, 10 years, right?
Yes.
I don't want to see us defund police and the police say, well, we're going to be cutting our staff. And most of the officers of color are the ones who are getting let go, right?
Okay.
Nothing about us without us.
Exactly.
We have to be at the table. What we should be doing is saying to the province, you need to fund more of our support services.
Okay.
Put more money into organizations that are youth serving, like Associated Youth Services, Peel Children's Center. Put more money into CMHA, which is the Canadian Mental Health Association,
Yes.
right? Put more money in these organizations to make them more accessible, to make them work with the police and do that work, because the police should not be responding to mental health calls.
Exactly.
But if they're the first ones to call and they don't have enough coast workers on their shift at that time, guess who's going out? The police are. They're not equipped to do it,
Yes.
right? But if we had more money in these mental health organizations to do this work, you would have people out there. For example, Associated Youth Services has a program called MST, which is what I'm certified.
Yeah.
Multisystemic therapy has a 24-hour crisis line number.
Wow.
24 hours that you can access if you're a client, right?
Yes.
Now imagine if CMHA had more funding to increase their 24-hour line for mental health, and there was enough marketing and enough encouragement for people to call that number if you're suffering mental health crisis. The police may not be the first ones to be called. People will know, I'm going to call this
Exactly.
mental health organization to get the support for my family, my friend, or whatever. So I think we need to shift our thinking, all right?
Okay.
And the province has the funds to be able to support our communities. And so that's why for me, I'm always advocating for more supports for mental health services. You know, who knows what's going to happen in the next election? Hopefully I'll be at the regional table. I don't know, because if at the region,
Yes.
then I can really use my mental health skills.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
be
know
able
how
to-
much of a champion you are for that cause.
Absolutely. So I really want to see, in order for us to be equitable, we need more of us at these discussion tables who can say, hold on a second, my experience as a Black person I know I'm going to be impacted by the decision that you're making here today.
Yes. Wonderful.
Right?
And on that note, Councillor, because we are coming up on time, just one quick, because another new development which came out of this time period was those automated speed cameras. And I think a lot of persons have definitely been on their feet since. I think for now, there are a couple which have been mounted. I'm correct?
Oh my goodness. So I'm so excited about the ASC, the automatic speed enforcement. There's a process that happens. And I moved an amendment to the last motion to say all community zones need designated, all school zones, need to be determined or designated community safety zones so that we can get there's no barriers to get these signs up and get these cameras up.
Yeah.
So we have Vauden Street between Kennedy and Center Street. We'll have a camera, Ridgevale, Drive North,
Okay.
Ray Lawson Boulevard, Avondale, and Grimley in my ward, and Fern Forest Drive. So every ward, 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9 will be having cameras at first. And I'm so looking forward to that because we need to do something about our speeding. We need to change driver habit.
Yes.
I had a great conversation with Springfield Regional Police to talk about what are some of the barriers, what are some of the factors that are causing people to drive
Yes.
like lunatics on our road. And I did get confirmation that per shift there's only about 5 officers that are for traffic calming. Now, all officers are supposed to be able to do traffic calming.
Yeah.
However, if all of our officers in Brampton are dealing with calls that are more it's serious, how are they doing traffic regulation? So you can definitely see how we've come to this place right now with driving habits. But just know, residents, that your city council is on it. We have pushed to get these automatic speed enforcement cameras throughout 200 locations annually to start reducing traffic speed and ticketing people
Yes.
who want to use their car as weapons.
But of course, and we know how much of a champion you are in terms of controlling the speeds on the road. I know you just got out of a little scuffle there at City Council for those lawn signs. But of course, we have to thank you so much, Councillor. Thank you not only for being on the show today, but thank you for being the advocate you are at City Council. We're right up on our time here. But of course, thank you for joining us on the show, and we definitely look forward to having you back. It's always so much fun when you're here. I'm so sorry you're not in studios for us, so and we just leave that to the imagination of the guests. What happens when we see each other on the road? But of course, thank you so much for joining me today, Councillor.
Well, thank you for having me. Anyone who wants to follow me on Instagram at Charmof5, and that's at CHARMOMOF5. Follow me on Instagram, and you get information there, and you can even message me and ask any questions. And I'm looking forward to being in that studio with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for you at home, I must say thank you so much. We'll take a very last break, but we'll be right back to wrap today's show. Don't go anywhere.
As the world fights this coronavirus, we are standing together as a family.
My name is Kelly. I'm a fan of GBKM.
My name is Pastor Clement Omozane.
I'm Medea, your red carpet host.
I am your host, Ellen Roxon, for the show Talk That Talk here on GBKM FM.
I'm a mother and a teacher. I stand with everyone at this time.
Hi, my name is OJ Ebobo, co-host of the King's Domain.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lloydie, the host of the Chat Up Show on GBKM.
My name is Kenny Bazwai, President and CEO, GBKM FM and TV. We stand with all the community affected by this pandemic.
And of course, welcome back to the Return to Show right here on GBKM FM. I must say, what a fantastic conversation we've had. First in our series of as we reopen, and we just heard from Brampton City Council Councillor for Wards 7 and 8, Charmaine Williams, as she told us the strategy that Brampton will be implementing as we move back into society and out of quarantine. So don't forget, you can always get caught up on today's discussions. We always post our videos right after the show is done on live. You can also catch us throughout the week as we do our reruns on our Facebook. It's at Great Benin Kingdom. You can also get us on YouTube. It's GBKM TV. Also on our website, www.gbkm.fm. Also get us on TuneIn app, GBKM. You can also get our app from our website and take us with you wherever you go in the world. And of course, I want to send huge shout out to my amazing sponsor, AOF Immigration, who specializes in all your immigration needs, ranging from permanent residency, caregiver program, business visitor visa, student visa program, temporary worker program, and so much more. So contact AOF Immigration for your private and your confidential consultation. You can give them a call. It's 416-629-4617. You can also send them an email. It's at info@aofimmigration.com. You can also visit their offices, as of course if you're in Canada. It's located at 5800 Ambler Drive in Mississauga, Ontario. And just let them know that we sent you the Alternative Show and of course GBKM FM. And as they always promise to do, is take very good care of you. I want to send a very huge thank you to my in-studio team for keeping us looking beautiful and air each week. Of course, lights are my producer, Mr. Kenny Bazwaye, makeup, clothing, whatever department they're in. Thank you so much for making the You Turned Up show as glamorous and as turned up as you see our presentation each week. Of course, a huge shout out to you at home. Thank you so much for being a part of our show. I mean, it's our second season and we have the conversation, what's hip hype happening, and also that hard-hitting discussion going. And as we traverse COVID-19 and as we try to emerge, I want to encourage you to be mindful of yourself, be mindful of your family, and to be mindful of your community, because only when we work together as one community, one human race, can we truly emerge and matriculate together. I want to also say thank you for tuning in each and every week, and don't forget to come back right here this and every Saturday with the same host, Romain Redmond, same time from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. right here on the #1 station in web radio station, that is in the GTA, GBKM FM. Keep reaching, keep achieving, and of course keep changing the world. We'll see you next week.
My name is Omadede, host of the Omadede Show. Debuted in November 6, 2020. We are live on GBKM Network, Toronto, our new home, showcasing our African Canadian multicultural community. Join us at www.gbkm.tv. Don't forget, November 6, 10:30 a.m. It is a date. The Omadede Show, another mega show you don't want to miss.
Hello, my name is Miriam Akpata, host of Global News Check. Debuting on Thursday, November 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the award-winning television station in Canada, GBKM. On Global News Check, I'll be bringing you burning issues all over the world as it affects you and I. I'll be asking questions and interviewing key players in the industry. I'll be bringing to the table the truth behind the truth. Don't forget to join me on www.gbkm.tv. Global News Check, where we bring the truth to the front
Do you
line.
believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the GBKM Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, at gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the GBKM Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, at gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the GBKM Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, CAREER, at gbkm.fm. It's time to turn your passion into a career. Do you believe you could host an entertaining, engaging, and thoughtful weekly show? Or are you a business person or entrepreneur interested in building a brand for yourself? Can you connect with an audience and have strong social media skills? If so, the GBKM Network would love to invite you to join our team. We're looking for driven, genuine folks who are willing to work hard as an independent broadcaster. If this sounds sounds like you, come join our team. For more information, email your resume to career@gbkm.fm. That is career, career, @gbkm.fm. It's time